Hello, Divine Ones. Welcome. This is One Divine Light, and today the guides are going to be sharing a really important message. This feels huge today. I'm not sure how long this transmission will be, and we'll see whatever they bring through today. We're going to be talking about accessing like 5D and what that is like. We're going to be talking about Source or God. They're going to be talking about a lot of different things that are happening in the collective and that are going to be unfolding. And so they're going to talk about all of that today. So it feels really big. So if you're brand new, welcome. I'm going to be speaking in both English and a light frequency. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you for being here and supporting this channel. So let's get started. Dear ones, today we wish to bring through this heartfelt message and connect with you heart to heart, as this is the only true way of connection you see. And the only way of connection is heart to heart. So right now you might speak to each other. And they're saying this blah, 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 blah. Noise, noise, noise. But it is the heart that speaks. And why we say this now is because this message, it will be the heart that is speaking. While today we will be speaking in words that you can understand according to the language that you understand, or the language that is being translated to you. We will also share a frequency, a tone, a song, if you would, that is a vibrational match to the truth of all things, the truth of all beings and all things, all existence, of all. Of all. And there will be a message that is transmitted today, as the message is always transmitted heart to heart, because the things that we talk about actually cannot be spoken about. The things that we say are actually beyond words and description, though we will use words to describe these concepts today that you might say are quite heady. We would say, eventually you must move out of your head and into your heart, where you will know the truth of all things. And indeed, you already do know the truth of all things. So that is embedded in the fabric of your being. You see, you have believed that the truth of who you are, is separate from you or only accessible by some, when we would say it is all things. So we would like to explain this concept now today. There is one source, there is one energy, there is one God, there is one what is this? There's no words for this. There's no actual words for this. So it's a spaciousness. Let's call it a spaciousness for now, okay? There's a spaciousness. To which there is one, and it is formless. Yet it informs. All things that are in a form, and it is the fabric of all things. And so we'd like to explain it like this, as a visual aid for you today for this concept. Though, please remember that what we are sharing cannot be shared by words. We are sharing this, concepts and beliefs, and at the same time, we are sharing a heart transmission. So when the mind and the intellect can't understand anymore, the heart always knows. You see, there comes an end point for the mind. There comes an endpoint for the mind. Is that right? For the intellect. There comes the intellect is the correct word. There comes an endpoint for the intellect. And though try as you may, with books as you might, with accolades if you wish, you will never know this way. The way to knowing may start with the intellect and ends with the realization that What is to be known is right here, right now. It was never contained over there, though you may go over there and over here. You may read the books as you wish, travel as you like. Go up the mountains and do many retreats. You may do many things. You may visit many temples, places of worship. You may do many, what is this word? The repetitive actions. It'll come to me. You may do the bowing and the praying, and you may do these things, but realize also that any outside source is the source inside, and everything that you see is just a reminder of the God within and the God that is you. And now we say, surprise! You have been told that God is something other, God is something else, and God is only for those people that are good, that go to church on Sundays, that pray in a certain way. And we would say that God is all things. God is not picking and choosing. Is not only those people that wear the white robes. God is not only those things that you deem holy, because all things are holy indeed, even the things that you would wish to say are not holy, in fact that they are. And now it will be humanity's job to see the holiness in all things, and this will not be an I am better than you, and I see the holiness in you, or saying things like I'll pray for you, but with a condescending tone, not those prayers that are real prayers, but the condescending tone, that some might do, that cast a judgment, that I am better than you, because now is the time to realize, and there will be this realization now that all are divine and all are God in a form. Sorry, my eyes are so wide open. It's giving me a thing, and I'm just asking to I just need to take that down a little bit. Okay, because all are divine, and the divinity will be seen, and this will be the only way out. You may try to go in circles to get out of pain and suffering, or even to get away from others. And we don't say don't get away when you might be in harm's way. Of course you do. But we say that when you think that you can outrun somebody else, or something else, or even the negative energy, or those things you would call negative, you cannot outrun them, because everything is one. Where are you running? Who are you running from? What are you running from? You see? And these are the questions, really. But what you can do is realize the truth. And in this realization, you see things as they are. In truth, not as the conditioned self believes them to be. You see, you believe your family members, your friends, your loved ones to be who you think they are, and in fact, who you wish them to be, instead of who they actually are. And we don't mean let them be who they are. Yes, of course, let people be as they be. We say actually the deeper love and the deeper knowing and the true love and the true knowing is to see people as they truly are, the divine that they are. And it's not pretending that they are divine. It's not this at all. It's not, oh, I will save you, or I'll transform you, or I'll heal you, by seeing you as God, or seeing you as source, or seeing the divine within you, while you still hold the anger and contempt for others and for yourself. You see? There is this slippery slope, way that If you look very closely, you will see that the conditioning is there, and that the what's the word? The conditioning is there, and that the small self, it's very like sneaky. Is always finding ways to. And if you look at yourself closely, and really see the nature of mind, of what you would call your mind, and we would say even the collective mind, the nature of this, that interweaved in it is this feeling like, I must be better than, I must get ahead of. In order to be safe, I must get and keep and have. And do. And we would say, safety is in being. Really in being. You can relax into the truth of who you are. And so the time is coming now for humanity to see the bones that it has buried. Excuse me, that indeed will be dug up, to be seen, and you may say, like all the skeletons in the closet, and you may say, this is like horrible indeed. We would say this is the opportunity to know. You cannot now any longer be involved in the shenanigans, in the hoodwinks, in the tiddlywinks, in the ridiculousness of like media, social and otherwise, like news media, where there's like one hot topic to sell and everybody's trying to sell it with a different angle. And while everybody is trying to sell the same topic, there is a whole bunch of stuff under the surface that is not being seen, because this chaos and shenanigans is on like the surface. The circus is on the surface, but backstage, there's a lot going on. And we would say underground, like deep underground, like what you would call illegal. Illegal. That's it. Like what you would call illegal. Like dice games and things like this. This is not the first time they showed this to me. With these jacks and dice games. And it's strange to me, because what is coming to me is this game that's like I could only say as a childhood game, and I call it jacks. It's these little pieces, and I think there's a ball. And this is not the first time they've showed this to me. And these games. But it will be coming to surface for all to see, and see and be seen. It will, and this is really the message, that all of these things must be seen as the divine that they are. And you will say, how could I see this unholy thing, this unworthy thing, this horrible thing, this awful thing as divine? And we would say, well, the small self can't. And of course you can't. And we would say what you would call, like, we don't blame you, like in this way, that would be like our way of saying this to somebody else. Like, we don't blame you. They're saying this like this, like, we don't blame you. Of course, that is what you would see. From a conditioned mind. That would be what you would see from a conditioned nervous system. That's what you would see from a collective conditioning. There is a conditioning that you are buying into for your own self, and you are conditioning the people around you. And this is like a fact. This is, if you look closely, and we're really asking you to look closely now at this, because you are conditioning each other, and you must step away from this conditioning. And wake up and see the truth, which is an internal truth of the nature of all things. So the divine aspect of self sees all things, the shenanigans, the hoodwinks, the things in the collective, and sees them in truth. And in doing so informs the field that truth is here. As you recognize or realize, open up to the truth within, you realize that this truth is not individuated. It's not only within you, it's within all things. And as such, this knowing is in the collective field. It's there now. And as more and more realize themselves and all things as this divine nature, it is known. Is known. That this divinity is here now. Throughout what you would call time, the divine aspect of self has been hidden from you, and from everyone. And so you have been told that this is somehow separate from you, and that only some are worthy, when in reality, you find that after all of your searching and seeking, that everything that you needed was always here. Sometimes you might need to go on those journeys, those retreats, those books, that intellectual, all of those things that you may do that are like guides. They're like signposts that point you back here. When something points you out there, we would say it's not a true teaching. It's, we would say this, okay? You may pray to the deity before you. You may chant the mantra to the deity before you. You may offer the prayers and the offerings, and all of this is fine. However, the realization is that deity, that mantra, is actually God in the form of mantra, is God in the form of deity. You are using an external object to like remind the mind of the God within. And though you may have the objects, and these are lovely, wherever there is reverence and a praise to what you would call God or Source or Buddha, it doesn't matter, whatever it is, or whatever words you might say, Allah, it doesn't matter, whatever it is, wherever it is, there is beauty there. There is beauty in the reverence. It is when the conditioned self twists the words and ideas and tries to gain the power and tries to keep people guessing, keep people coming, then it is in that that creates the problem. Because if there was a church, then that church would be you. You could say you are the temple, you are the church, you are it. There's nothing holier than right here, right now. There is no higher, holier place than you. And your physical body is a divine instrument, tuned frequency has been tuned. It's got the tuning of truth. Tuned in it. Like a music box. Okay, and this divine truth, this divine tuning is in everybody. In every being, this harmonious music, if you would. This frequency has been tuned. And then what you would call come to earth. However, we would say it is awakening to an experience of an earth experience. You are like experiencing an earth experience. You're not actually like going somewhere, and we'll explain this more perhaps in a separate message, like a part 2, or maybe today, we will see. We would say you are experiencing an earth experience, and as such, you have these ideas of separation, and as a child is born, you see that child is tuned with this beautiful harmonious frequency, and it doesn't have any conditioning except for, so it doesn't have any, so the tuning itself has no conditioning, and as that child comes to fruition, so is like they're showing me in the womb right now, the conditioning starts. The conditioning starts with the mother and the hormones, and the stress, and the things, the speaking and the frequency and the people around and all of it. And what shall we call him or her? And the idea of gender, and all these other conditioned ideas. And then the child is born, and soon gets lost under a pile of conditioning. And so you see, when you are born with a form body, it's a denser body. The people, and we don't want to say chosen ones, because that's not the case, but we would say more and more people, so not all people being born at this time, what you would call being born at this time, not all people being born at this time are sort of coming in with these newer bodies. They're going to explain it more, but our physical form is changing, and people being born now are coming in with a different physical form that is able to hold and house a different like energetic body, an expanded energetic body, like you would what you would say in other like dimensions like this, and to experience like 5D in this way. Not all, but some and more. However, we would say that this denser body can only, so it's tuned with this frequency, and with all of this conditioning, it can only hold so much frequency. So the way to be able to hold these higher frequencies to experience 5D, is to let go of the concepts and beliefs and the conditioning. And in doing so, you become free. You realize that truth of who you are. And this is how you experience 5D, and how people are beginning to awaken to 5D. 5D isn't a place, it is an experience. There is no place. Everything is like right here, right now, simultaneously. So we're going to try to explain this using these concepts. And again, we're just going to say, remember that these are concepts that we're using to explain something that really can't be explained, but the explanation is coming through your heart space. Is coming through like my pores, through my heart, like through everything, like it's coming through everything. And then it's coming, it's coming. So I'm saying it's coming through everything because this is how I experience it, like the energy like coming out of my body like this. And they're saying to me, although like I'm saying that, also take away all of my body and all of this, and it's just here. Please remember that. So, we'd like to explain it like this today. Imagine, if you will, or you like, that there is a vastness, a spaciousness, that is formless, okay? And how we always say there is a thread that is weaved through all of existence. We are going to explain it like this. There is a thread that's weaved through all of existence, and that thread makes up what you would call like a blanket. And this blanket is made from this source, from this spaciousness, okay? All things come from this one spaciousness. There's no word for this. I don't have a word for this. They can show it to me. I can feel it, but there's no word for it. Okay, so this spaciousness, we can think of it like there's a thread that goes through all of existence, and that existence is never ending. If you would, and the thread creates like a blanket, and that blanket creates but remember, all the things are still this one. So don't get lost in it. So there is this one spaciousness, and there is like a thread that creates a thread. That thread creates a blanket, if you would. So that blanket is everything. And this, please don't think that these are two separate things. So you might think there is this source that is creating this blanket. No, there is this source that is creating itself into a blanket, okay? So we're going to use this word blanket today. It's a fabric of all things. It's like the essence of all things. And now, it takes a form. So if you can imagine that this blanket can expand and contract in all directions, okay? It's multi-directional. Yet it's flat at its... So they're showing it to me spaciousness, then this thread comes into this like blanket that is like just like threads. It's just threads. It's very translucent. It's not like a thick blanket where, you would cover yourself and you couldn't be seen. It's like translucent, if you would. Okay. And then there's these little blobs that come up from the blanket, and some are smaller, and some are taller, and some are wider, and you could call these blobs you could call them other people, plants, animals, planets, You could call them other dimensions. You could call them whatever you want. Angels, you can call it whatever you, ascended masters, doesn't matter. You can call it whatever you like. Yodokurusa, Buddhas, Pure Lands, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. You can call it whatever you want. Let's, for this example, say that this first smaller blob is like an earth experience, okay? This is you, on what you would call earth. But even this is like, you think you're here on this planet, and really you're experiencing this. It's not necessarily that it's here. It's not here. It's not here. Although you're experiencing it. So it seems true, from a conventional point of view, it is true. You are on earth having an earth experience. And from another point of view, you are experiencing earth. But you are not here or there. You are actually everywhere. Let us go back, please. Here you are. This is the form body, the physical body, which is dense and heavy. And you see how it has just a little spot underneath it? So you can think of it like a blanket. And then that blanket like sort of pops up like this, right? And then some other parts pop up a little bit more and more, and some are bigger and longer, and all types of shapes and forms, okay? And so this one here is smaller, and so it contains like an energy body, that's connected to the all, okay? To everything. And the tuning that we spoke about, the tuning of the music box, it's in here, okay? It's here, underneath here. Now you would say that this is empty, but we would say it's full, and actually it's full of all the important stuff. But you see, you think the body and everything else is the important stuff, and the thoughts and everything else is the important stuff. And we would say, yes, it's important. It's all important, because the body is a temple, and yes, it is important. But the personality structure creates like a super ego, a super importance. It makes it more important than everything else that's underneath. And that's what is important here. Okay, so you see that in an earth experience, there's only so much source energy? No. Because you're experiencing an earth experience, and as such, you are experiencing a denser body, according to the terms and conditions of the earth experience. For now, you are experiencing this. Soon you're going to rip up these contracts of terms and conditions of what you can and can't experience. But right now, you're experiencing a heavier, denser form. Now, this form has been conditioned, and that's part of what's making it dense. When we were talking earlier about the baby being born and the tuning, the body is lighter. But as the child is conditioned and conditions others, it becomes heavier. So the things that you believe in and the conditioning, makes your physical body heavy. And someone asked us, the guides, about food and stuff. And our bodies changing, and our food changing and stuff like that. And they say it will begin with things that are like problems with our food and food sourcing and food source shortages and things of this nature. However, it will move on from that, like toxins and things like that within the food supply and food sources, and like fake foods, and soon it will come to be I have to go back. They want me to say something, and I was just trying to see if I could like bypass that, and maybe not, but they're like, no. And the poison that is in, and you know it. And they're saying to me, like, why are you so upset about this? Well, you know it. The collective knows it. It's the thing is that it's hidden in plain sight. It's not like you don't know. The things that we are sharing, indeed you do. Realize what is on the labels, and and the things that are not on the labels, and the ways that the things are being dumped, like toxic waste type of thing, like this. And okay, and these things, it starts in this way first, and then you start to question, like, what can I really even eat? And then, once upon a time you were told about like the food pyramid, and you were told about breakfast is eggs and bacon, and then it became like protein smoothies, and we would say there's nothing wrong with any of these things. Although soon you will come to realize that even these things are conditioned, that everything is conditioned. And as you begin to question all of it, your form body becomes lighter, and its requirements become less. Less of everything, less of so many things, less of the consumerism, less of the clothing, less of the makeup, less of the foods and the fake foods, and the toxic foods, less of all of it. And so we would say that this body, when you sit back and stop, just stop, and be, and you will find, you will realize, open up to the silence, the spaciousness, the source that is here now. It's not a concept, it's a feeling, that moves beyond feeling. It's just a knowing. It's just a knowing. First it might start like a concept, then you might feel it as you move out of thoughts and into feeling, into just being. And in this, the denser form, you're no longer connecting with, this is my body, this is everything, all the noise that the body is saying, all the noise that the mind is saying, all the noise that the collective is saying. It like relaxes. And therefore, you are able to now experience underneath here, you're able to experience more, like what you would say, like 5D, you're able to experience more of this blanket that's underneath, this energy that's underneath. You're able to access as this dissolves. It's not going anywhere, but all the conditioning is what's making it heavy. This represents heaviness, okay? And so as this dissolves, it becomes lighter, free of the conditioning, and therefore can be now informed by what's underneath, and now can be one of these taller blobs, and in fact can communicate. How do you communicate with your guides, with angels, with source, with all of it, with your higher self, with everything? It is tapping into what's underneath here. It is leaving behind these concepts and conditioning, which can be very challenging, because the small self will grasp and kick and scream to stay alive, to keep the conditioning alive. Because from the moment you wake up in the morning and you start thinking, you start creating your day rather than your day being created through you. And there is a difference, Ioroto korosa, a really big difference. And we'd like you to sit with that. Ioroto korosa takarasa takarasa. And so the way to channel, the way to experience 5D, the way to access all of this is in the releasing of the conditioning. And that includes releasing your hooks on others and the designs that you have for them. You have like plans for them. Let it go. Ioroto korosata karasa. Someone else's life is not your life to design. Ioroto korosata karasata karasa. And we would even say in some ways, you have all been told that your life is your life to design. And from one point of view, we could say yes. And from another point of view, the divine aspect that actually is you, Ioroto korosota korasa, could paint a beautiful picture, a beautiful world far greater than the small self can ever dream of. If you would allow it to be. So your heart and our heart is one heartbeat that beats through all of existence. And we wish to finish this message today with an amplification of the energy that is that music box tuning, if you would. So if you say yes, then we say yes. Anasala Shirir. Sala Kuyip Ketasai. Ukia pakotusia witia kutis niwe kitukusekete tekerasa tokerese tekerese 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 tekerese, and the way forward yotokorese tekerese will be to iorotokorosoto todototosotokoroso tekeresa tekeresa, open to the light that you are, to the divine that you are, to the peace that is present always, that permeates all things, to the source that is here now. Iorokorosa is not hard at all. And we say it like this because we understand that you have been told it is hard, and sometimes you'll even sit down and say, I need to quiet the mind. No, you don't need to quiet the mind. Open to what is here in addition to the mind and its thoughts, which is the no thought and the silence. Use the thoughts as like the backdrop to the no thought. Use the the noise, okay, as the backdrop to no noise. When I was taking, they asked me to share this, so I'm going to share this. When I was taking a meditation training, and I had been doing this meditation every day for 2 weeks, and I was standing in the grocery store, and all of a sudden, and I had meditated before, I had done yoga of all kinds, and this was different. It was silent. Was calm abiding meditation, actually, is what it was. And it was longer than I had previously done. And so I was standing in the grocery store, and there was like, all of a sudden, I felt like I was just being sucked backwards. And I could hear all of this noise. And there was just this stillness. And it happened out of nowhere. I was just in the grocery store, standing in line. And there was just this silence that was here, and all of this noise. And I just had this recognition like, oh, wow, there's silence here. And it's like witnessing all this noise, yet it's unmoved by this noise. And so that was kind of like a really big, like, I've had all these moments. Sometimes people will ask me like, well, how are you doing what you do? And it's like, it's all these mini moments that brought me here now. And then the mini moments that happen now that wherever's going to be next, you know, or what we would call next. So what the guides are saying is this, use it all as a backdrop. So when your mind is going crazy, let it go crazy. You're not trying to stop it. Open up, be receptive to. Turn the corners of your mouth upward in a small smile of receptivity to the whole moment. Because the whole moment is not just the chaos of your mind or of anything. There is more to this moment, and there is a silence here. And you are just opening up to what is already here. You are just allowing what is already here. It's here. And so this is your way forward. Because when you experience this, and you experience this state more and more often, it becomes your natural state, because it is your natural state. You see, that is your natural state. All the rest of it, all the other harried, crazy thoughts and intrusive thoughts and anxiety, this is not your natural state. So your natural state is here now, in the midst of everything else, in the midst of anxiety, in the midst of anger, we would even say, in the midst of sadness, in the midst of horror, in the midst of intrusive thoughts, in the midst of a birthday party, in the midst of everything that's wonderful, in the midst of everything that brings you to your knees. God is here, Source is here, divinity is here, pure divine consciousness, Christ consciousness is here now. Are you here? Then God is here. Are you here? Then consciousness is here. The only way that you could experience the you that you call you is if consciousness was here to experience or witness it, and enliven it to be so. Okay, thank you so much. To the guides. Shala City. And love that's just coming from my heart, like out to you, which is so beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up today, and I'm just gonna instead do a channel update, okay? Because I was gonna say some things at the end, and I'm not going to now. Let's just wrap it up. It's I think this is just the way to go today. It just feels right. And I will just do a little channel update, and I'll like drop it like midweek or something to like share some other stuff with you. Although I will share with you that there are group sessions now for November and December online, and they're available for you to book if you like. And what else? And one-to-one sessions, I have those back on my schedule again as well. So those are out, and all the other stuff we'll just share it at another time. And so thank you so much to the guides for sharing this message today, and to you, thank you so much for sharing in this experience with us. And as always, we are sending you so much love. Thank you.